Guys, welcome to Extreme BPM. My name is Mark-Xtreme. We do this Tuesdays and Fridays. That is Tuesday and Friday. We get to talk to people that make the music, and then we get into, talking about the songs that we play in between the week, Monday to Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. East African time. What we do is we dedicate that entire hour to people that to the indie artists. Okay, so we do that for the entire hour. I don't even know many places that do that, but anyway, we do that and dedicate that to indie artists, and it's been great. It's been like almost a year now of doing that, and it's been great. And interestingly, I have a person who was featured on the show before. Okay, she's all the way in Japan, and she's on the show right now. Her name is NEONshe. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. How is Japan, and how did the pandemic treat you guys?
Actually, I feel like we've had it so much better than a lot of places. It's still, we actually haven't had the vaccines yet, and we're actually in another state of emergency right now. So now it's kind of getting worse. But for the last year, it's kind of been okay. Life has been somewhat normal compared to, back home in the UK, which I know has just been absolutely crazy. So I feel really lucky, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think Europe had it rough, and the US, because even they predicted that Africa would get it worse, but we are good. People are out already. People don't have the vaccines yet. There are a few that have had them, but people are out
Oh,
already, and we're not having that many cases. Ever since the pandemic began, I think we only have, like in Uganda specifically, we only have about 42,000 cases.
wow. That's amazing. Yeah, we're really, really lucky, really grateful.
Yeah. So how do you end up in Japan? You tell me how, you were born in the UK, right?
Yes, yes. So I was born in the UK and I just kind of, I studied music all my life. I've just always been really passionate about singing and recording and playing the piano. And so I finished my degree in music, and then I wanted a fresh start. I had made an album in like the 6 months that I had in that space. And so I just kind of threw myself at the opportunity to move to another country. I didn't think it was going to be Japan. I didn't think it was going to be as far as Japan. Um, but I'm really glad because I really love Japan. And specifically, I'm in Tokyo now. It's just such an amazing city. So I was really grateful to be able to release my music here and kind of meet new people and experience this amazing culture. Mm.
So how do you come to the decision to go to Japan then?
I think the trick is to just not not think about it too much. So I had the opportunity because of somebody else to go to Japan. It's a very long story, but I basically just got myself a job in like a week. Oh no, sorry, like 2 weeks, and then I just booked my flight, and then I was like, okay, there's no going back. And when I got onto the airplane, I think that's when it really hit me. It was like, oh, okay, I'm actually doing this, and I'm still here. So
Yeah, I don't know, father, even getting to have that thought in my head. I'm like, you're moving straight and you're leaving everything behind and going to a new country, because you hadn't been to Japan before, right?
I went to Japan for 2 weeks prior,
Ah,
maybe like a few months before, and I actually knew before I landed. I saw the mountains, and I was like, this place is amazing already, and I had a feeling that I would want to be here. Mm.
yeah. And then now, having you had studied music in the UK, right? And you finished,
Yes.
and there's that scene over there, and how you grew up in the UK. Then you go to Japan, which is also a different
Mm.
scene. And then how are you trying to adapt to these two worlds, and as you're making music?
Mm. Yeah, it's there's so many things to kind of think about regarding that, right? So you've got like the cultural difference, which is huge, huge cultural difference. This language difference, which is, you walk outside and there's like hardly any English. I mean, I think there's a good amount. Like I've managed to survive,
Yeah.
thankfully, but obviously completely different way of writing, and sometimes it's been really tough, I'm not gonna lie. Like it's not easy to do that, but I think especially music has been kind of my anchor in that, you know, knowing that I have been influenced so much by the Japanese music recently, and I've created some work that I'm really proud of, it really helps me to kind of, it sounds really cheesy, but it, you know, it is very true that it kind of um, helps realize why you're doing it and kind of reconnect with your purpose. Mm.
And what is your purpose?
I think my purpose, wow, that's a massive question. I think my purpose is to do music and hopefully connect with people through that and make them feel something, you know, whether it's good or bad, or just, you know, make them feel like, I think music is like, I say it a lot, it's this universal language that everyone can connect with. And I think if you can make music, then that's, you know, that's something that you're very lucky to be able to do. Mm,
Yeah, and
just embrace it.
yeah, I think that's a good thing to, you know, a good reason even to make music. Even anything that you do in life, you know, the purpose usually behind it has to be very important for you to keep doing it,
Mm,
because it can
yeah, exactly.
be frustrating sometimes, especially when it is music, because it's dependent on the reception of how other people perceive what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really tough, isn't it? I mean, I'm so lucky because I feel like I have such a great support network. And actually, during coronavirus, I've met so many people, now you included,
Yep.
who I feel like, you know, connecting with people all over the world, just because I can sing and write songs. Like for me, that is so incredible. Um, so yeah, it's really nice to be able to connect with people because of what I do.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So,
Yes.
so what? How would you describe what you do? Because you know, you studied,
Mm,
and then you had influences of people that you like, and when
mm,
you have all these two things embedded in you, but you know, how would you describe the music you make?
So recently, I have, I mean, I've always been very into pop music. I grew up actually studying classical music, classical singing, and a lot of musical theatre, so a lot of Broadway, West End musicals, that kind of thing. And I really think that my music style now is very influenced by that kind of euphoric, kind of fun, um, very playful atmosphere. But obviously, I love pop music as well, and I'm very into like making electronic music. A lot of my pop influences are very heavily electronic, so I think I've kind of merged the two to make this genre, electronic pop, J-pop. Like it changes, but right now that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, and you do produce too, right?
Yes.
So so far, how has it? How have you done all the work yourself, or you've worked with other people as you're making the music?
Yeah, so everything that I release is done by myself, excluding a few things from a previous project. But I write all the music myself. I produce all the music myself. The only thing I don't do is I master. I don't master. My really good friend and basically family member, Dave Draper, he does that for me. And yeah, occasionally I will have people come in and give me advice. I'll send my music out to people I trust, and they will kind of give me advice to try and make it like the best it can. Mm.
Yeah, that's amazing. So, you've been when the pandemic hit, you know, all of us were stuck with, you know, you couldn't do anything, you couldn't do any shows, you couldn't perform, you couldn't
Mm.
do anything. So people had, but you still had to keep making music because you still have to keep a presence. So,
Yeah.
how have you managed to transition into receiving feedback by waiting for comments and people that like and people that stream the numbers? Now the DSPs are becoming like the dictators on whether something is good or not sometimes. So
Mm.
how do you manage to, you know, keep sane and strike a balance in between taking in the feedback and knowing that, okay, this sometimes there's the digital side of things, and then there is when I perform live and there is a reception
Mm.
that is good for this.
Right. Yeah. Two very completely different things, right? Digitally, um, yeah, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to like kind of keep a level head, right? I think anyone who's on social media, like I personally constantly have my phone on airplane mode because I don't like being disturbed by it. So I definitely have had my struggle with, you know, trying to have this separation of, you know, these are just numbers and this is my real life
Yeah.
kind of thing. But yeah, from performing on stage, like I really miss it. I really, really miss it. But I've actually, NEONshe, this project is very new, like literally not even a year old. So I still have a lot to experience with playing live. It's a completely new kind of chapter of my life. So I'm really excited to see what that will do, but I'm not actually sure how that will be yet. So basically my whole life is this NEONshe project has been kind of shown through numbers and statistics and you know, hearing from people online. So I guess that's kind of all I know for this project. But yeah, it's a very difficult question. Like how do you kind of stay level-headed and sane when you're just constantly judging numbers? You know, I think maybe everyone struggles with that. Mm.
And you know, it's very difficult now because even now the people that dictate the numbers, some of them even, or who give you feedback on some of the music, might not even have an understanding of the music. It might be someone seated behind their computer and just writing things for the sake of it, because probably they didn't, because there are things that I've heard, like the way I choose music is I listen to stuff several times and see
Mm.
if I can pick something from it. And whereas other people will play 2 seconds in, and if it's not what they are used to, they're like, ah, this is terrible, and then they give feedback on that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they don't know how much that impacts the people that make the music, because artists, you know, you feel like you're giving part of yourself when you make music.
For sure. I mean, it's hard though, isn't it? Because you do have to kind of find the border of what is constructive and what is actually not really worth thinking about. Because I mean, I haven't really spoken about this much on the like as NEONshe, but when I was a lot younger, as you know, I did music for a lot of my life, and a lot of people really judged me for it. I got quite bullied in school, and so I was there was a lot of times where I was just very hurt about you know, what people were saying about me. But then you kind of, I think in a way that kind of gives you a tough skin, because now as an adult and kind of trying to, you know, break into this industry with this new project, people will say something that you don't like, and that's always going to be the way. But you have to think, oh, is this actually sound advice, or is this just someone being mean? And I think you kind of, after a while, you can really tell the difference. And constructive criticism is really good, and it helps you improve. So you should never just take it that someone's being like, I don't know. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? I feel like I'm kind of babbling a little bit now, but
No, I think that's a sentiment for every artist, you know, especially
mm,
when you're making music now during the pandemic, where you have to depend on feedback from people, and the
mm,
people that you don't see, because sometimes music, you know, is good when it's felt, when you realize how it impacts people when they listen to it. It's like the same world I'm in, so I understand definitely what you're saying, because I
mm,
do the radio, I'll go on the radio and do something, and you won't,
mm-hmm.
you know, it's a space of, you won't hear from people, right?
Yeah.
But then when when there's a mess up somewhere, that's when you hear
Mm.
people coming in, right?
Right, exactly. You can be perfect your whole life, but you make one mistake and then everyone wants to say something.
And you're like, yo, I thought no one was listening to this, okay? I thought no one was, because I wasn't hearing anything when I was saying something that was, when I wasn't messing up at all. And that's, I think I've had even people that have you know, gone through
Mm,
the same thing as artists, and they're like, you know, I need to hear people say something about my music. I'm like, you know what, if you depend on what the reaction and
mm,
what the people will say, you know, you will get disappointed sometimes, because
mm,
you're basically depending, yeah, on someone else to satisfy what you're doing, instead of
mm,
actually saying, okay, I've done this project, I'm confident in this, and I'm comfortable with what it is. Now the feedback is dependent on the people that receive it. There are people that will like it, there are
mm.
people that won't like it. That shouldn't change how I feel about the project.
Exactly. And I think another huge thing, Mark, is actually that just because, someone doesn't like your music, that doesn't mean that someone else isn't gonna like it. I you know, the type of music that I make and the type of music that I'm about to release, I feel like is for a very specific type of niche. Like it's very happy, it's very upbeat. Not everyone is gonna love it, and I understand that. And but the big thing is I really love it, and I feel like I spent some of my life in like my last project trying to kind of mold to maybe what people might like, but not really thinking, do I actually really love this music? You know, and that's what it should come down to, because if you don't love it, like what's the point in doing it?
Yeah.
Like people aren't going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it just because that's their preference. But
Yeah.
that's okay, because there are going to be people who love it, and those people will stick with you and those people will support you.
Yeah.
Those are the ones worth worrying about.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's,
Mm.
I think that what artists and people who are in the business that create should do is focus on making yourself better. That's it. Because the
Mm.
moment you keep trying to make yourself better, uh, people always realize the growth. They start figuring out.
Mm.
Because like there's an artist that I just posted up yesterday on my Instagram. Some guy that is a new he's a younger artist that has been on the scene in Uganda like for about 3-4 years, but he has been
Mm.
competing with people that are way older than him and has been at the top for that all that for the 4 years. Even
Mm.
right now, he still has a hit song right now. So when he came in, because he was different, he had a big voice and trying to sing, and people were like, "What is that? What is that?" And everyone would make fun of the voice and be like, "He says blah 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 blah,"
Mm.
but he
I see.
actually was very talented and knew how to use it. So what he did, he kept molding it into different styles and making it
Mm.
better. And now everyone accepted him, because clearly if he can keep making these hits and people keep praising him for that, it means that
Mm-hmm.
he's doing something right. But if he had listened to people and what they were saying before, saying this voice
Mm-hmm.
is different, no one knows this, people won't support this, he wouldn't go
Yeah.
anywhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
i feel like
100%.
and I feel like it's the same with the music you make, because
Mm.
people will be like, okay, how does this sound? Okay, I'm not to this, and then they're,
What even is this?
what is this? But getting to you say the project NEONshe is almost a year old, right? So
Something like that.
so talk to me about the transition from what before NEONshe, who was there?
So before NEONshe was my real name, but the reason I started NEONshe was because we kind of brushed upon it, like trying to fit into a box of what I thought I am as like a person, as a musician, whoever. So I wanted to create an outlet for myself where I could make music in any genre that I wanted. I could be I could look however I wanted, and I could perform however I wanted. And I didn't have to think, oh no, are people going to judge this based on my actual persona? I mean, I'm very like, who you're talking to now is me, right? But the music that I create is just what I want to. There's no kind of box, there's no border. So what I'm making now, I might decide to go into experimental jazz next project. I probably won't do that, but you know what I mean. I wanted something that I can have no limit, right? So yeah, that was the transition, realizing that I just felt very trapped. Um, so I wanted to create something where I could express things that I believed in without
Being
fitting
pretend.
into this. Yeah, totally. So yeah, that was why. Mm.
That's that. I think that's good, because if, as long as you know how to strike that, and people don't have expectations already because it's a neon is a new project, and you can make it
Mhm.
whatever you want.
Yeah, totally. And I also wanted to like value my privacy a little more. Like having music as my real name, like that's fine. And I really don't knock anyone who does that. But for me, I just felt like my personal life and my music life, they were just so kind of merged. And I really hated that. So I just wanted to have the separation. Um, like the creativity, and then I can just live my life, because I actually live a very simple life. Like I like to go to bed early, I like to read books, so it's very a very kind of kind of different, whereas when I perform, I feel like it's more, I just want to be really colorful, and I want to have loads of funky things going on. So
Yeah.
yeah, wanted to create separation.
So that's the whole costume. That's the whole thing that you
Yes.
put on. What you're putting on right now, the makeup, the hair, and all that.
Yes.
What is that inspired by?
Okay, so my original idea was to be like a kind of unicorn hybrid thing, because I love unicorns. But then that was just a little tricky to kind of make visually real. So I am inspired very much by like Lady Gaga, like when she first kind of came onto the scene and was just so extravagant and so like free and wild. And I thought I wanted to make a really kawaii version of like Lady Gaga. So like Lady Gaga meets J-pop kawaii culture.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, that's interesting. I hope you won't come dressed in meat, right?
No, actually, I'm vegan, so that would never happen.
Exactly. Yeah, and then I checked out and realized that, even I think it's even on your Instagram, that you're vegan, and I I'm vegan in my mind. I'm not vegan yet in my ways of life yet. But
Mm.
but but, but I think I'm kind of like, because I don't take dairy that much. I don't
Mm.
actually anymore at all. And I only eat, I probably beef only, but even that is once in a while.
Oh, the poor cows.
But the rest, I'm not like one. I don't need meat every time, but I'm like
Mm.
semi-vegan. So why did you decide to go vegan?
I was raised vegan by my mother, and I was vegetarian for a little while after I was kind of introduced to like pizza, and when I was 15, I believe, I watched a documentary called Earthlings and The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear, which are two they're very hard hitting, but they're very informative. And even now, they're very relevant. So I watched these documentaries and I realized that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're eating dairy or eggs, you're still contributing to the meat industry. And I really love animals. So I figured that was a change that was necessary if I wanted to kind of live by my own morals. Mm. So that's why.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Mm.
you're much better than me. I mean,
No, no, not at all. I mean, you
that,
you say you say you have this mindset.
yeah,
So the only next step would be to
act the
go
mind.
onto the internet, right?
Yeah, it's now
Mm.
what is remaining is acting what is in the mind, right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Small steps, small words. Small steps make big outcomes.
Yeah,
What's that quote? I don't know what it is, but something like that. Mm.
yeah, that's interesting. So talk to me about this new project that you have that is coming out. Actually, since this will come out when it's out, so talk to me
Ah.
about this project that is out right now.
Yeah, the new music, right? So I have been working so hard recently, just like every day at my laptop, making music, whatever, marketing. And on Friday, well, it's out now. Will be releasing a song called Wrong Boy's Attention, which I've actually had in my back catalogue for like over a year. But I've been really loving this new kind of J-pop genre. And so this is the plan, right? I have 3 singles. This is the first time I'm saying this. 3 singles, and
Exactly.
then my debut album coming out afterwards. And it's all gonna be inspired by like my life in Japan and things that have happened. And it's just a very fun, and it should be a great journey if I can make it happen the way that I want to. Mm.
So Japan has the wrong boys. Yeah.
Sorry.
So Japan had the wrong boys. I'm playing. Yeah. So the title of the song is "Wrong Boys," right? Wrong Boys Attention.
Mm.
Why this title? What happened? What kind of boys
Oh,
are in your life?
actually, this song came about. I wasn't actually going to write a song about the situation, but it just kind of happened. I was on Facebook, and I don't have Facebook anymore, but I ended up getting hit up by two people from my past, different areas of my past, but they ended up, um, put it blunt, one ended up like cheating on me, and the other one was just not a very good person. And so these two people hit me up within like the same 3 days. And I was just like, this is just mad. Like, I haven't heard from these people in like maybe 2+ years. What's going on? So anyway, I ignored the messages. I ignored what it, and then I was washing up one day, and then the chorus came into my head. I keep getting wrong boys' attention. I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. So I finished washing up and I came up with the chorus, and then it just kind of happened from there. And I sent it to some of my musical kind of mentors, and they were like, okay, this is a single. And it just kind of has been waiting for its time to shine, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I was like, I was imagining "Wrong Boys Attention" as a title. I've never had any title like that. But then I was like, yeah, we've had other titles that are also interesting. But I was like, I was very curious to hear what the story is about the song. Uh,
Mm.
so is that why
Yeah, it's very literal.
you left Facebook because it has the wrong attention? Yeah? You left Facebook because it has the wrong attention?
Oh, I left Facebook? No, you know what? Facebook is just such a waste of time. That was why I left. It was just no, seriously. I was actually I turned minimalist at the time, and I was just like, I have too many people. It's same thing. I was going through this transition of I want to keep my personal life separate. I want to keep my music life separate. And so I just unfriended everyone on Facebook, literally everybody on Facebook, and no friends, deleted all of my pictures. And then by the end of it, I was like, okay, there's no point in doing this anymore. And so I just quit. It's too noisy, too noisy.
Yeah, then you went over you're on Instagram now, right?
I know. I was so good before. I had like a 6 month break, and I was like, oh, I don't need Instagram. And then I realized like NEONshe is such like a visual project, and I was like, I have to get back online, especially in coronavirus, right? How am I going to advertise my music without some kind of social network?
Yeah.
And also last week I've been convinced into getting TikTok, so now I'm on TikTok as well. Everything's slowly coming back into my life, I think.
So I was fighting TikTok until until the team that I work with kept on insisting on that. I said, okay, even if I start that up, I'm just putting interviews there. I'm not doing nothing like dances
Mm.
on there.
Yeah, so many dance videos, right?
I just can't keep up. I just don't know how these people do these things.
Yeah, right. There's so much energy.
So much energy, and I think they take so much time to edit all these things. I don't know if I can. I have that. I'm patient. I have time. I mean, but
Right. I know you have no time. So for you to be like editing little 5 second clips as well. Oh, nah.
they do
No,
so
no,
they,
no.
they do so much editing on that sometimes I'm like, I can't keep up. What? How do you have like what? You
They've
know,
got to have like a schedule, right? They've got to have like a social media schedule and like plan it out like you would like a music video or something. Yeah,
1000%. I'm like, you guys, I don't know how you
yeah,
guys keep up, but anyway,
yeah.
we are here.
It's a skill.
And they're like, but you're always online. I'm like, no, I'm there when I'm putting stuff that I'm working on. I'm just not there when I meet people in public and we're having conversations. I don't even touch my phone.
Yeah, right. That's really important for
Yeah.
sure.
So it's
Mm.
it's quite it's quite challenging these days. So what do you do on TikTok? Do you do the dances? Because you as
No, I
an
mean, I actually I learned the BTS Dynamite dance not that long ago, and I've been kind of tempted. Should I put that online? But no, mainly at the moment I've just been kind of introducing myself, just kind of, putting pictures of my studio, and I posted the Tokyo sky tree today because I was over there this afternoon. Just kind of little clips of my life, as trying to keep it musical though, as I said before. Mm.
And you have a nice studio too. I've seen the pictures on Instagram too.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So Wrong Boy's Attention, that is coming, that is out right now, guys. You can go and check that out on any of the DSPs. It's available for you. It's coming from NEONshe, and you can go and support all the other projects that she's had out. Okay. So the album that is coming out, when do you have like a date? Do you have a title for the album?
Yeah, so I'm not gonna tell you the album title just yet. I might tell you after the interview though. But so 3 singles, they're gonna be out every single month. I actually just literally today we put the date out. Well, uploaded the song for the next single, but more about that in a couple of weeks. So yeah, 1 single every month, 3 singles, and then album.
Yeah, so the guys
Yeah,
can figure out the month. Just count 3 singles,
yeah,
3 months,
album.
and then the
So
album.
maybe like 3, 4, 5 months. It all depends, right? It depends on how smoothly everything goes and the amount of content there is to release. But yeah, that is the deal.
Yeah,
Three songs and an album.
yeah.
It's very
So,
exciting.
so about this project NEONshe, as we get to wrap up, how
Mm.
what has been the best part of you handling this project and come and bring it back to life, bringing it to
Mm.
life. Sorry, not back to life, bring it to life. The NEONshe project, the whole package. What has been the
Mm.
best part for you so far?
You know what? There's so many great things about this project. I really feel like I'm having the time of my life, even just doing the simple things like putting really fun makeup on. Like I hardly ever get a chance to do that now because like we're all stuck inside. So it's so nice to be able to like make myself like look really fun and creative. And part of it as well is like meeting new people. It's been such a pleasure to meet you, Mark, today, and it's been so great to meet people all across the world. And I think the biggest thing for me is just the fulfillment of having music that I truly, truly love out, stuff that I've really put my heart and soul into, and not really worrying about, will people like this and what do I do if they don't? Like, it's just so much more about my personal growth as a producer and as a songwriter, and just trying to constantly make things that I'm really proud of. Yeah, so many good things, but I'd say that's the summary.
Yeah. So as a producer, I'm going to put you on the spot now. And as a producer, can you tell me your top 5 producers of all time?
Probably not. I really love I mean, I wouldn't say Owl City is like one of my biggest influences, and he does everything himself. He is a self-made producer. He is like my number one, I would say. I really love Zed. Zed has made some really great stuff. Um, Avicii, obviously he made some really amazing music. Um,
Did you watch the documentary on Avicii? That was sad.
no,
There's,
is there a
there's one of the
documentary?
one of the docs that I saw that they put out, and they was showing what they are trying to do to make sure that he can be better and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, this,
Mm.
this is even sad. I didn't even finish it.
Yeah, it's really depressing, right? But
Yeah.
he made some amazing music, and he is such a legend. Um, but yeah, I mean, I love a lot of these songwriters who just do it all themselves, like maybe starting from like the DIY approach, like the Weeknd, for example. I'm pretty sure he just started making stuff in his bedroom, just like how so many of us artists start, just with like a two very cheap monitors and like a little interface. And look at him now. I really, really respect artists like that. So I mean, producers, I think nowadays you kind of have to be able to do everything, to kind of I mean, you can do everything, right? Everything's so accessible now. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't think I have a top 5, but I do have an appreciation for the people who just do it all themselves. Mm.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing that that makes it even hard for me also when someone asks me what's your top five. I'm like, yo, I just can't tell you top five because if you listen to my shows or listen to stuff that I do, I go to different places with music, and I'm like,
Mm.
and all the music I play is because I like the music. I don't get into the
Mm.
music because I don't like it, and which is even
Yeah.
how we got introduced is through music, and
Mm.
it's
Yeah, right. And Mark, I was watching, listening to your show before this, and what I really loved was just the diversity. Like, I was doing my makeup while listening to your show, and I was thinking about how you've got a really great way of taking all of these different tunes. Like, I think the show started with some very like chilled out music. It was really nice, and then just slowly, like the mood built, and I ended up shazamming some of the tracks as well. They were really great. But it was just great how you could merge like all of these really great genres, very different genres, but
yeah,
somehow kind of keep the mood
yeah.
continuous.
Yeah, it keeps like it's
Um,
the same thing, right?
yeah, it was blended really well, and it was just really, it was really showing just what a vast range of like genres you have on your show. I thought that was really great that you do that for so many different types of artists.
No, thank you,
Mm,
thank
yeah,
you.
really good.
That's that's I've loved doing that so much this day the for the last probably because I started doing like entirely indie artist music probably like
Mm,
I would say yeah and months because I
mm,
used, yeah, before I used to make that, but I wasn't like more into I need to support this and dig deep into that. So when I got into I started looking at what I'm doing and I'm like, what am I contributing? If I'm I can we can play the stuff on Billboard and stuff that is hitting right now, but those people already have a
mm,
support system already, so we can do that on a certain time. But then there are people here who do it for themselves and who are very talented and very good at what they do, which who make even
mm,
quality music sometimes better than what is up on the charts, but they don't have an outlet unless they go out and perform. What
right.
I did is every day I have to go through the different submissions and songs, and I look at,
Mm,
I have to keep an open mind. And I'm like, if someone is from, let's say, Kazakhstan, I listen, knowing that I'm not going to have expectations of what I had from someone in Europe, from what I had
mm,
from someone in the US. So I keep an open mind and I go on the musicality of the project. So
mm,
then I find, okay, how can I match this with this? Then I find how
mm,
I can bring them together, and then that's how I put up the show, and that's how I've managed to,
mm.
and I've loved so much doing that.
Yeah, it was really telling. I really appreciated the like I said, like the vast genres and how you had obviously very much thought about the mood of each song and what section of the show to put it in, and what songs go next to each other. Like it was just yeah, a great kind of blend and a great kind of continuous, because you didn't really talk much either. You gave me a lovely shout out, by the way. Thank you so much for doing that. Um, that was really appreciated. But in general, like you introduce the songs and then you kind of let the music speak for itself, which is just that was just really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, really great.
No, no, thank you. We save the talking for this. That's why we end up doing the extreme BPM, and then we have the artists
Mm,
talk about the music so that they can get familiar with the people that have been listening to them, or the people that like the way you listen to some songs. There are people in there. I've loved doing this so much that there are people that have met and collaborated together just from listening to the show. That someone says,
that's
"Oh,
grand.
I like this person," and then the persons or they end up connecting, and then you find them working together on projects, and I'm like, well, that's good to see when you see people doing
Mm.
that. And you know
Yeah, right. And everyone that you do are like independent artists, right? So it's so much
100%.
easier to, yeah, it's so much easier to connect with people like that. There's no kind of like crazy wall
No,
kind of, it's so much easier to connect with people nowadays, which is so important in these times, right? Like it's more important than ever to just meet musicians and people who share similar interests.
yeah, who work
Mm.
on music because they want to work on music, not because it will be a good sell or a good fit for
Yeah, of course that would be nice, but that's
yeah.
not the reason we do it.
Like, no. You see, the thing is, if people, you look at even back then when people used to make music because they of respect for each other, you know
Mm,
it ends up becoming big and works
mm,
for them as because it's a business. But then
mm.
these days now it's more of connect through email and connect through this, and even you don't even know the person, or you're talking to even people
Right.
that are not going to make the song. And whereas
Yeah.
the person that makes the song is seated somewhere, and then they are
Hmm.
bamboozled with a new person. Oh, work with this person, it will be a good fit.
For sure. I mean, definitely there's room. Like I have people who help me, and I think that's very useful in the sense that I can really focus on the creativity. But especially when working with other musicians, like I always want to kind of connect, and I send lots of like voice memos and just try and like, because especially all over the internet, right? Like I've been working with people all the way in Mexico, and it's very difficult to like, they're like, oh, we can be friends, but like it's hard to do that, right? So you have to try and make as much human connection as you can just over the phone.
Yeah,
But it's just the world we're living in right now, and people adjust, and there's definitely pros that have come out of it for sure.
yeah.
Mm.
So thank you so much for hanging out with me. So what, guys, what we are playing next is Wrong Boys Attention, coming in from NEONshe, and it's a new single out. Now you have to calculate that there will be three more singles, right?
Sorry, this is the first single, so two more
So two
singles.
more singles, yes. That is two
Mm.
months. That is a single each month, according to the plan, and then the album comes out. So the title
Yes.
of the album, we don't have that yet. We shall get, probably in due time. We shall get that, and then thank you. How can people find you on socials and all that if they want to connect with?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, just got TikTok, and yeah, please go check out my music on Spotify. If you don't have Spotify, I'm basically everywhere else, and there is a SoundCloud as well under 23 Unified Frenzy Records. So you can find me there as well.
And you just opened up a Facebook page right now. I'm kidding. She didn't.
Never.
So thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys, on the Extreme
Thank you so
BPM.
much.
Let's play Wrong Boys Attention coming in from NEONshe. Go and check out on social media and follow her and stream the music. That's the best you can do. Okay, if you want to support her, go stream the music on all DSPs. NEONshe, and the song is Wrong Boys Attention. We shall be back next week, guys. The Extreme BPM on eJazz Radio.